Okay, let's talk about something we all spend a ton of energy trying to avoid: suffering, right? We see it as this problem we need to fix. But what if that's completely backwards? What if I told you the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had this wild idea that suffering isn't a bug in the system of life, it's actually a feature? And maybe, just maybe, it's the one thing that gives our lives real, lasting value. Let's dive in and see what he meant. I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? Lying awake at night just thinking, is all this struggle, all the heartbreak, all this sheer effort, is it all just pointless? Just random noise? Or is there something more going on, a deeper meaning to it all? That's the big question we're going to tackle today.
All right, so before we can really get into Nietzsche's pretty mind-blowing answer, we got to set the stage. We need to understand the super bleak worldview that he was pushing back against. And for that, we need to meet the undisputed king of philosophical pessimism himself, Arthur Schopenhauer.
Okay, so Schopenhauer's logic is actually pretty straightforward, but it's a real downer. He says, look, anytime you want something, or to use his fancy term, anytime you will something, you're basically admitting you don't have it. And that feeling of lack, that constant wanting, well, that's a kind of suffering, isn't it? It's this nagging dissatisfaction. So for him, this simple act of trying to get something is, by its very definition, painful.
And here's the real kicker, the big trap in Schopenhauer's view. There's just no way to win. You're either in pain because you want something you don't have, or you actually get it. The thrill lasts for, a minute, and then you're left with this hollow, empty feeling of boredom. That is, until a new desire pops up, and the whole miserable cycle starts all over again. He saw life as this endless pendulum, just swinging back and forth between pain and boredom. Yikes.
But then, along comes Friedrich Nietzsche. He looks at that exact same pendulum, that same cycle of pain and boredom, and he just sees something totally different. He doesn't see some curse we need to escape. No, he sees the very engine of what makes a life great.
And this is where they just completely part ways. You see, for Schopenhauer, the goal is peace. It's all about quieting that annoying voice in your head that always wants more. But for Nietzsche, the goal is growth. For him, striving isn't some pain you need to run from. It's power. It's an opportunity you grab with both hands. That will isn't the problem at all. It's the very source of our greatest strength.
So this leads us right to Nietzsche's most famous and probably most misunderstood idea, the will to power. Now let's get one thing straight. This is not about dominating other people or political power. Not at all. Think of it as a deep psychological drive that's inside all of us. It's this fundamental hunger not just to stay alive, but to actively seek out challenges, to overcome resistance, and to feel ourselves grow stronger in the process. It's really about mastering yourself. You know, a great way to think about this is to ask, why do we play games? Seriously, the goals are kind of silly, right? Kick a ball into a net, move little wooden pieces around a board. In fact, we deliberately invent rules just to make it harder for ourselves. Why on earth would we do that? Well, because the real fun isn't just winning. It's the struggle, right? It's that feeling of outsmarting the obstacles. And Nietzsche thought the best kind of life is one lived with that exact same playful attitude towards all of life's challenges.
Okay, so right about now, you might be thinking, all right, I get it. No pain, no gain. Simple. But hold on, because Nietzsche's point is way more radical than that. He's not just saying that struggle is, a useful tool to get to a good outcome. He's saying the struggle itself, the process, the climb, has its own deep, profound value.
Let's try a little thought experiment to really nail this down. Imagine there are two versions of the famous writer Goethe. Okay? So Goethe number one is a total genius. He writes his masterpiece, Faust, and it's just easy for him. The words flow, he's got support. Life is good. Now, picture Goethe number two. He writes the exact same book, word for word, but his life is an absolute nightmare. He's dealing with poverty, illness, loss. He has to fight and claw for every single sentence he puts on the page.
So here's the question for you. The book is identical. Which one's achievement is greater? Whose story do you admire more? Whose life feels more meaningful? I'm willing to bet almost everyone listening chose Goethe number two. Our gut just tells us that the hardship he went through isn't just some sad backstory. It's an essential part of what makes what he did so amazing. The struggle itself adds a kind of value that has literally nothing to do with the physical books sitting on the shelf.
And that insight leads us to what I think is the most powerful, almost poetic part of Nietzsche's whole philosophy. He says that suffering isn't just a tool for growth or even something valuable on its own. He suggests that when you look at it as a part of a whole life, struggle can actually be beautiful.
Yeah, there's actually a formal name for this idea. It's called contributory value. It's this kind of weird alchemy where a negative thing, something that's bad all by itself, can actually make the whole thing it's a part of even better. It's like the masterpiece isn't great in spite of the painful parts, it's great because of them.
And you see this principle everywhere, especially in art. Think about it. A symphony that was only made up of happy, pleasant notes, it would be so boring. It's the dissonance, that tension, that makes the beautiful resolution feel so earned and so powerful. A great novel with no conflict? That's not a novel. And you literally cannot have courage without first having fear to overcome. The dark parts are what make the bright parts shine. So, okay, let's pull all this together. If struggle adds value, if it can even be a component of beauty, what does a great life actually look like, according to Nietzsche? Well, he doesn't pull any punches. For him, greatness is not found in a life of comfort and ease. It is forged in fire. He says it himself, only this discipline has created all enhancements of man so far. I mean, think about it. Our greatest art, our deepest wisdom, our incredible resilience. He'd say they're all born from great suffering. It's the tension on the bow that lets the arrow fly.
Now, I want to be crystal clear about this. Nietzsche is absolutely not saying we should go looking for pain or become masochists. Trust me, life is going to throw enough challenges your way on its own. The point isn't to create more suffering. The point is to reframe the suffering that's inevitable. It's about changing your perspective so you stop seeing hardship as some random curse and instead see it as, well, as the raw material. Like a block of marble that you can use to sculpt a stronger, more meaningful, and maybe even more beautiful version of yourself.
And really, that's the whole powerful shift in perspective. This isn't just some old, dusty philosophy. It's a practical tool for how to live. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. How would you live your life differently, like starting today, if you started seeing every single obstacle not as a wall that's blocking you, but as an invitation, an opportunity for greatness?